Hi guys, so it's Cluesuits here with another video for you. So this is going to be a frequently asked questions video, just to answer some of the questions that a lot of people have asked me through my 8-part tutorial series for building a fursuit head. First of all, I'd like to say a really big thank you to everybody who has watched that video, who has commented, liked, asked questions, shared, subscribed, etc. I mean, I can't imagine how it's as popular as it was. So first of all, a lot of people have asked questions and they've not enabled replies on YouTube, so I'm unable to respond to a lot of your questions, and I do really apologise for that. And I'm sorry if your questions get overlooked. I do get quite a few through and I don't have time to answer all of them. So with that out of the way, I'm going to move on to the actual questions that I've been asked a lot. Some of the main ones include how I made the balaclava, or the original foam head dome base. Those will be covered in future tutorials. I have been asked for tutorials on specific things like tails, paws, bodysuits, etc. And I do plan on bringing all of those to you in time. These tutorials just take an awful long time to make, and I apologise an awful lot that I can't make them as often as I'd like to, but I'll do my best for you. So onto the tools. I keep being asked, we'll start off what I use to glue foam together. Simple glue gun. This one is virtually completely out of glue. I've been pushing it through with a pencil because I can't get hold of any more glue at the moment. Sorry about this. This was the class I was in back at school, and I used to take my glue gun in and I didn't want to lose it so it could be returned to the right class. It is covered in fur. Yeah. But I use this to glue almost every single thing on the fursuit head. The only glue I will ever use otherwise, I can't speak today, is E6000, which I might use on eyes or teeth, tongues, depending on what they're made of. But E6000 is a fantastic, clear, industrial strength glue, which is fantastic. But for the most part, glue gun. I recommend the bigger ones than the smaller ones because the glue sticks you will find won't last very long. And I buy 30cm glue sticks for these, which are about this big. It's, the height of an A4 sheet of paper. And that's 11mm glue sticks, because I find that they just don't last long if I use anything smaller. People ask what clippers I use. This is what I'm using at the moment. This is awful. Don't use it. It sort of works, but it works intermittently. It does cut DF fur quite well if you're holding it at exactly the right angle and there's no fur clogged up in here. This is chargeable, but I leave it plugged in all the time when I'm using it for you. Sorry, my webcam's flipped, so I might be doing this a lot. I think this cost me about £20–25 in Asda. For those in the UK, you'll know what that is and what that means. It's basically Walmart. It's the UK's equivalent. £25. I think that's probably around $40 at the current exchange rate. But they're just cheap and kind of nasty. You can't change the blades. I'm currently looking to upgrade to a new set of Oster Orandis clippers, which I think would probably be a really good investment. It's just being able to afford the sort of £120 that they're going to cost. That's the clippers that I use, and comes with a little brush, which is fantastic because you'll need to brush the fur out of the clippers very regularly. Oh gosh, look at this. There's loads and loads of fur coming out of here. I used these not very long ago, that's why there's fur everywhere. But like I say, these don't last very long. I've managed probably a little bit longer than I should have with them, but I don't recommend going cheap. I recommend going high quality. You can do cheap at first just to get the hang of it, but you're definitely guaranteed better results with a higher quality pair of clippers. What do I use to cut the fur? This is not in the shop. What do I use to cut the fur? This is a question I get an awful lot. What knives I use, things like that. I do say in the videos that I most commonly use a box cutter or a utility knife. Depending on where you are, you'll call them different things. They've got, I don't think my webcam will pick it up. They've got snap-on, snap-off blades. Snap-off even, not snap-on. And you just take this little bit off the end and use it to snap. I've got to get this at the right angle. I'm not going to be able to do this for you, am I? I'm just going to make a fool of myself. But there's just a little slit in the end, and you just snap off the top blade, and then you're left with a fresh, sharp edge, which is great when it comes to cutting fur, because you'll want the sharpest blade possible. You can also use a pair of pliers. I keep a pair handy just for snapping the blades off, because I find it's a lot easier and safer. I've got these in 2 sizes at the moment. I didn't used to. These little ones are great for precision and for cutting fur, especially because you have more little blades than you do in the larger one. Which, you know, it lasts a little bit longer when it comes to when you're just using the tip to cut fur. However, because these are extendable, don't pull the end out. Because these are extendable, you can use them to cut foam in thicknesses up to sort of this. A lot of people say they use X-Acto knives, which I used a lot in my early days. I find these so much more useful. I get these in a pack of 4 for £1, which, you know, as in America you'd have a dollar store, we have a pound shop. You can get packs of 4 of these in Poundland. 4 of these will last me easily a couple of weeks of heavy work. That's not even a joke. Little ones and big ones, both great. I also use scissors a lot. I have 2 pairs of scissors here. These because I use these on foam and paper and things like that. And I have another pair that I keep just for fabric. They're both fabric scissors. I used to use these for fabric, but as they've blunted too much, I've gone to using them for other things that will blunt my scissors. And then I'll use these just for cutting fine fabrics. They're quite big, which is great, because you can cut a lot of foam at once with them. Foam. I'm very commonly asked what kind of foam I use. This is very simply upholstery foam, which is used in seat cushions and things like that. This is 1 inch thick. You can get it in all different thicknesses. I've also got a 1/2 inch here, a 1/4 inch even, which I use for, no, 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. So I'm not very good at inches. I'm British, we use metric. But I generally use inches for measurements because they're, I don't know really, everyone else uses inches. You just sort of, through self-teaching fursuit building by using the internet, everyone else uses inches, so do I. This is a really huge chunk. You can get upholstery foam up to sort of 4 inches or more. This is great for carving muzzles and things like that. I use 1/2 inch on all of my head bases, like the dome, the bucket head, as people might call it. It's also great for ears, but then I also use, I have been known to use this, I don't use it very often. This is actually underlay that goes underneath carpets for ears, because it's nice and thin, it's nice and pliable. It's really cheap. You can also use things like fun foam, but I find that too thin. And yoga mats or camping mats, I use them quite a lot. I use them a lot more than this. I just sort of found this quickly while I was preparing for this video. And fur. Forgot about fur. That's a nice important one that everybody asks. This is Distinctive Fabrics Luxury Shag Fur, which I purchased from fabric.com, which has really cheap shipping to the UK, and I've never had it take longer than 4 working days from the date of purchase to arrive at my house, which is fantastic. This is bread and butter for fursuit builders. DF Fur is fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I'll post all the links in the description, by the way. It comes in all different colours. I grabbed a couple of scraps for you, just out of my scrap bin, just so I can give you an idea of the different colours it comes in. I've got an entire rack of fake fur over that way of my room. DF Fur is beautiful. It's fantastic stuff, and I absolutely love it. I recommend using that any way you can. I'm not too sure where you can buy it in the US. I'm pretty sure Distinctive Fabrics has a website, but also fabric.com is where I order it from. Apparently people have problems with that, but I've never had problems. And Mendel's is another one that also ships to the UK. I also use a lot of Montreal's Fox Fur. This is the white Fox Fur. It's quite an ivory colour, it's not very white. I'm pretty sure you can get this from CL's Crafts. I've only ever bought it from other fursuit builder friends that order a lot of it, and I just say, I need a bit, can you spare me some? You know, I'll pay you whatever costs. but it's great. It's so realistic and wispy. It's just fantastic stuff. However, getting fake fur in the UK is difficult. I only grabbed a couple actually. We also have a website called Mohair Bear Making Supplies. Again, I'll post the link in the description, which does a huge variety of teddy bear furs. They're all fake furs, just generally designed to use on teddy bears. Sorry, I've literally just developed the hiccups. I don't really know what happened there. I've got quite a few furs from them. None I can show you small samples of, really. But it's amazing. I really like mohair stuff. They also do fun furs, which isn't great, but they do a lot of longer, more realistic furs. Shorter, again, slightly more realistic furs. Sorry, this has just been cut. If you order samples from them, they generally will just cut the pile, which makes it difficult to judge, because these are just their sample sizes. But again, great website, great furs. Finally, I'm going to talk to you about what I use for eyes. I've been asked that quite a few times. The see-through bit is a fabric called buckram, which is a fabric stiffener. I genuinely don't remember where this comes from. I think there's posts for it on UK Fur. But as you can see, actually you can't see all that well because it's white. Once you paint the back of this black, what's going on with the colours? My gosh. Once you paint the back of this black, it becomes really see-through, but people can't see the other way. You have to make sure the buckram you get doesn't have too close or too loose a weave, so it's got just enough for visibility. You can paint this with ordinary acrylic paints, you just have to be careful not to clog up the holes. Obviously I've got quite a lot of it here. This is the first lot I've ever bought a metre of, and it's huge. It'll just last forever. And finally, again with eyes, people have asked me what kind of plastic I use. I bought this off eBay. It was just called Plasticard, I think, which is often used in things like model railway making and Warhammer 40k models, things like that. You can get it in a bunch of different colours. I've also used vacuum forming plastic, which I think is high impact polystyrene sheet. I've used that because I bought it from my school back when I did product design and art, where they had access to vacuum forming machines. I think this is 1 millimetre thick. It's really thin. And it's not too shiny. The problem I had with the vac form stuff is it was too shiny. It's got a bit marked up on one side, which is alright because I can just use that for the back. The other side is nice and perfect. And it's just sort of, it's matte, but it still has a bit of shine to it. People have asked the difference between gluing and sewing seams. Like whether to just cut the pieces and then glue them straight on, or to sew the seams and then glue them on, which is what I do. If I just grab a little pre-made I've been working on for many months. If you sew the seams, they're so much more difficult to find the gaps in the fur. There's a lot of different seams here to make the curve, but you can't see them because they've been sewn together really quite tightly. If you just glued them, chances are you will have gaps, especially when you shave it down really close, like here. So you just can't see the edge there. You can just see the difference in the colours. So that's all I have to tell you guys today. If you've watched this video as well, thank you very much. And again, thank you so much to everybody who's watched my tutorial series. I hope to be able to bring you a lot more tutorials in time. It just, they take such a long time to make that it's not something I have the chance to do around university work. Thank you very much to everybody. I really hope to be able to give you some more work, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you very much. This is Kloofsuits. Bye bye.